here to help.
كما وعدناكم عندما أنشأنا هذه المحطة أن تكون لخدمة الناطقين باللغة العربية في داخل المملكة المتحدة وتحديدا في مدينة بريستول الإنجليزية، لتعريفكم بكل ما هو يخص حياتنا كمهاجرين عرب في المملكة المتحدة، لنعرف قوانينها وما لنا وما علينا في هذه المملكة الجميلة التي احتوتنا بين ضفتيها لسنوات قد طالت أو قصرت لبعضنا. اليوم نتوقف مع محطة من أهم المحطات، وهي أفون أند سامرست بوليس عندنا في مدينة بريستول الإنجليزية، لنأخذكم في جولة عبر أهم القوانين التي علينا احترامها لنتجنب الوقوع في المشاكل، ولمعرفة الحقوق وأين بالضبط يمكن أن نجد الخدمات التي تلزمنا والتي تحمي حقوقنا، لنعرف ما لنا وعلينا. اليوم كنا في ضيافة نيكولاس في ترنتي بوليس ستيشن في مدينة بريستول. أخذنا في جولة داخل محطة البوليس وعرفنا بالقوانين، ووعدنا بجولة قادمة خارج المحطة لنأخذكم معنا في رحلة عملية على أرض الواقع. فمرحبا بكم، تابعونا.
Welcome Bristol and Arabic audience here in the UK and also in throughout the world. Welcome. My name is Nick Smart. I'm the Sergeant at Trinity Road Police Station in Avon, Somerset, Constabulary. And I'm here to speak to you about the role of the police in the UK and how we're here to help you and how we can solve issues for you. Okay, I've been a police officer now for 16 years. It's a fantastic role. I love every day, every single day that I'm here. I just enjoy the variety of the role. And every day is something different. Every day I'm meeting new people, helping new people, and doing the best for the communities that we serve. I've always wanted to be a police officer. My father was a police superintendent, and I just wanted to follow in his footsteps and do great things for our communities. My role is as a neighbourhood sergeant is to manage a team of officers who work in the community to help build trust and confidence with the communities of East Bristol and help us engage with the community and get them to trust us better, provide more information so we can solve more crime and reduce the demand on the police. The vision for Avon Somerset is to provide an outstanding service to everybody in our communities. Doesn't matter where you're from, whether you're new to this country or whether you've been here all your life. We're here to provide an outstanding service to you all, and that's the bare thing that we want to get, and we want to get that in there for you. So everything that we are doing, we're trying to help you, and even if you get into trouble, we're not here to send you to prison. We want to try and help you and trying to resolve the problem for you for the long term, so you're not keeping having to phone the police about the same thing. The neighbourhood team here, we have police officers, but also we have PCSOs, so you might see out in the community you might see PCSOs who wear a blue uniform, and they are part of our policing team, and they are there to speak to you, to get to know you and to work out problems for you, and then pass that to the police officers who can deal with some crime elements, and try and resolve any issue that you have. How you gain access to the police in the UK. So if it's an emergency and you need police to be there right now, you need to ring 999. So do this as quick as you can. You'll get asked for either the police, fire or ambulance. And if you need the police, choose the police. And a police officer will be in touch with you on the phone, and you'll be able to get a response. You can explain the circumstances and you can get a response from the officers. If it's not an emergency and the incident's no longer happening, you can ring 101, which is our non-emergency telephone line. And this will get you through to the control room, where they'll take details of what's happened, and you can then explain all the incident, and then you can have officers then either come to your house or speak to you on the telephone to try and resolve the problem that you are facing. If we, as the police, aren't able to do the resolve that issue, if it's a council problem, we can then refer you to the council for things like noise and antisocial behaviour. We can refer you to the right agency to try and help you. And then we also have an email service as well. So if you have the internet, you can get onto our police websites. So there's avonsomerset.co.uk. And you can then get service through there. There's lots of different buttons you can click. You can change the language. So if you don't speak English, you can change the language on there. And if it's Arabic, you can read that in Arabic, and you can get the right service. So if you want to speak to one of our officers, you can click on that officer there in your area. And they'll get through to you'll get through to them. You can send them an email and they'll get back to you as soon as they can. So as I said, we're here to help you. So any problems that you have that you believe are related to the police, then do get in contact with us. We want to resolve this for you as soon as it comes in. So don't wait for things to get worse and worse. Give us a ring. If you're facing a domestic issue, like in your family home, please call us. We'd rather phone us for something small rather than things escalate, and for you to be injured or your children to be hurt and things like that. So please call us before things get worse, so we can come to your home and help you. We're not there to break up your family home. We're not there to send you back to whichever country you've come from or take your passport. As I said, we're here to help you and to resolve any issues that you have. It may mean if there's an argument that we might send one person away so they can cool down, and then you'd be invited back to your family home. But if there are crimes that are happening, then you need to tell us what's happened. And we can take some statements. If we need a translator, we can organise a translator on the telephone, or we can organise one in person to come to the police station, and they can sit with you, and we can translate a statement of your evidence, so we can use that in court. And if a crime has happened and people do need to be arrested, then we can take people away to the police station and hold them up to 24 hours. But if you are arrested, then please comply. If you fight, the officers will have to put handcuffs on you, which we don't want to do. We like people to come with us calmly, but just if you're aware, if you're fighting, you may have officers put handcuffs on you for you to comply to come with us. But as I said, we're here to help. So if officers do take people away, they'll be back to speak with you and to take your side of the story and get your statement of evidence to tell us what's going on. So please don't be worried if police come to your door. If you're out and about in the city and the officers come to you and they have reasons to search you, whether that they think you might be carrying weapons or drugs, They have to justify to you why they're searching you. They have to give you their name, their police station where they're from, and they have to give you a copy of the search and tell you the legality of why you're being searched. If, as I said, if this needs to be translated, this can be done over the telephone, so you know what's happening. But the best thing for you to do is to comply with any search that's going on. The search will be legal. It will be recorded on a body cam, we can take that from there. If we're searching people in an area, we're doing that for a reason. There might have been a crime nearby. There might be someone that has been taken away or lost, and we need to find these people and find what's going on. You might match that description. So please comply with that, so we can assist you. If you don't comply with a search, the officers can put you in handcuffs for your own safety to make sure you don't injure yourself or injure anybody else. So please be aware of that. And in this country, we don't carry knives, we don't carry guns, and we're not allowed to have any drugs in our possession. So please be aware of that. And if you do have those in your possession, you may be arrested or taken to a police station. So please be aware of that. But as I said, we are here to help you. And if you see us in the street or your children have any problems, if they're lost, please tell them to come to a police officer. They're normally wearing a hat like this, and in a uniform with a radio. We have police on the front. And if your child is lost, then please come to the police and we can help you. We can help them find their mother or father. As I said, we are here to help you to solve problems. But if somebody reports an incident and you or your family have committed crimes or committed a wrongdoing against somebody else, then we may have to come and speak with you and to resolve that issue. Now, in this country, there's many different laws, and I can't go through each and every one of them today, but I'll try and go through a few things with you, just some common incidents that people go through that, if they knew the real reason that in this country we don't allow certain things, then they wouldn't have done them and wouldn't have got themselves into trouble. The first thing in this country is that everybody who drives above the age of 17, you have to have a driving license. So everybody who drives needs to have a driving license. The car that you have has to have insurance to be able to drive. Just in case you get involved in a crash, or if your car gets stolen, insurance, you have to have that in this country. Also, your vehicle needs to be at a certain standard, so it needs to have an MOT, which is a certificate to make sure that the car is working okay. The tyres need to be a certain depth on the tread. You can't have bumpers falling off and things like that. The police will see it, and they could take the car away from you if it's in a bad condition. So that's the driving laws involving your vehicle. If you're using your car as a taxi, you have to have a taxi license. So you cannot pick people up for money without having a taxi license. And if you wish to be a taxi driver, you can go through the council and get a certificate to allow you to do that, and you can do that legally. If there's many different apps you can go through, like Uber, and you have to, if you're doing that type of thing, you have to be legal through Uber to be able to drive that vehicle to pick people up for money. The same is with working in this country. You can't work without it being registered properly. So if you're working for somebody who's giving you cash in hand, we're not allowed to do that in this country. You have to pay taxes and national insurance and that type of thing. So make sure that your employer, if you're working for them, they're paying you correctly. That you have a pay slip, and it's not just for cash in hand. because that could be your employer is doing things not in the right way and not protecting you. Other things in the community that are quite prevalent that we deal with as the police is that we may get informed by immigration that young girls have been taken away back to their home country, and they've come back to England a few months later. Now, sometimes this can be a concern for us. We have a common practice in this country that where girls are taken back to countries like Somalia or other Arabic countries, where they're exposed to female genital mutilation, and they come back to England. Now, this is a very serious crime that we deal with, and this poses a sentence, I believe, of 10 years plus, and we take this very, very seriously. We get calls from immigration and from our border force to say that people are coming back with young girls, and we will do checks to make sure that that if young girls have been taken away, they're doing it with consent of the family, and when they come back, that there's nothing that's actually happened over in that country. So please be aware of that. Other incidents that can be quite common in our area is assaults, sexual offences, and you just need to be aware of you can't hit anybody, you can't touch anybody and cause anybody else any harm. You can be arrested for that, and depending on the severity of the incident and the injury that is caused, it depends on how long of a prison sentence that could face. But also things in regards to sexual offences, you have to look into, or you have to be aware of consent. So two parties consenting in sexual behaviour is perfectly fine, but if that consent is not there, if one of the parties are drunk, then that consent might not actually be there because they're too drunk to realise that what they're taking part in is what they're actually doing. So that might actually not be given true consent to a sexual act, and that the next morning they may phone the police to say, well, actually I've been raped last night. I was really drunk, and I found I'm naked in my bed and I'm really worried. And we'll deal with that. We'll look at CCTV, we will look at forensics, and we will track down the offending person. And they'll be arrested and dealt with through the courts. So please be aware of that. You have to have consent of the other person you're involved with for it to be legal. Other things in this country that we deal with theft, whether that's from a shop. Shop owners will make complaints to say that people have stolen things out of their shop. It doesn't matter if a school child has taken a Mars bar or a chocolate bar, or if they've stolen a big screen television. It's still theft, and those shops will make a complaint and will use the CCTV to try and track that offender down. Also, fraud is quite a big problem. So if you try and trick people out of money, if somebody tries to trick you out of money or an item, then please call the police, and we can deal with that. Sending money away to other countries through cryptocurrency and that type of thing is also a big problem. Please don't engage with that. If somebody asks you to send some money over to another country in cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and that type of thing, there's no way for the police to track it because it goes through certain levels. So please do not give any money away to any other person over the telephone. Don't give your bank details to any other person. They're your bank details, and if you give those details away, the banks won't be able to get you that money back. That money will be lost. So be very wary of that. Okay, so one last thing I wanted to mention is the UK is a very diverse population. for all races or religions. Bristol is one of the most diverse places in the UK, with people here from all over the world. And in the UK, we need to be aware of our actions and how that may affect other people, and how you can, just by saying one word differently, that could offend somebody, and it could cause you a problem. So please be aware of what you're speaking about. In the UK, if an offence is motivated by discrimination, either racially or religiously, that offence can be aggravated, which means it can get a bigger sentence in court. So say if somebody hits you and they do that because you're Muslim, then that offence you get a much worse sentence in the courts. So they could get more prison time, they could get a larger fine, that type of thing. And we don't put up with that in this country. As I said, we want to provide an outstanding service for everyone in the community. So if you suffer any racist abuse, if you think a neighbour is targeting you because you're Muslim, because you're black, or Indian, or any other race or background, then please call the police and we can try and deal with this issue. We can help resolve that. And if you're in a classroom and people are talking about things, it's fine to discuss differences between different races and different religions. Please do discuss them. It's what we're here to do. But if you use that in a derogatory way against somebody else, then you're hurting them. You're causing them to feel harm, whether it's just by your voice, just by talking to them or shouting. But if you're then hitting them or physically harming them, it makes it much worse. So you need to be aware of your actions, be aware of your views about certain things. And just be careful about what you say, who you say it around, and your views about other people. Okay, well, hopefully you've enjoyed what I've had to say and taken in what I've had to tell you. If there's any more things you want me to speak about, please get in touch so we can try and help you that way and get down to some issues that you're facing. Hopefully you'll be able to understand what I've had to tell you. You can understand my Bristolian accent, and we can get this translated for you. So I hope to see you again soon, and that's bye for now. But just for the last thing to say is we're here to help you, and any problems that you face, please phone the police. We're here to help. We're here to help.